Salutations Internet, welcome to yet another Elmo Plays. Today we're going to be looking at the wonderful Pro Evolution Soccer 15, more importantly the Master League, which is arguably the game's main feature. So the Master League is something that's always been prevalent throughout Pro Evo, back from the early days. I remember playing it on PES 3, PES 4, I was absolutely enamoured with it. It is basically a career mode where the best option, in my opinion, is to pick a team. I'm North London White, Spurs, who I support, and it wipes out the whole squad and replaces them with fan favourites such as Castolis and Minandinho. So you can choose to take on the original squad from a team. So Man United, you get your Di Marias, your Rooneys, etc., and just play with them. But that's a bit boring. So I instead choose to adopt a team of absolute nobodies, and then you sort of build it up into your team of heroes. So I'm in the second season. I won the first season. I won the league by a couple of points. I've managed to sign players such as Danny Ings, Harry Kane, absolute hero, Ryan Mason, Kyle Walker, Nathan Dyer, Berahino. Got Luke Shaw on loan. Basically going for all young English players and Spurs youngsters, because once you take over the team and replace it with the fan favourites, your classic PES generic one, it will sort of get rid of all the old players. They become free agents, they might sign for big clubs, but the youngsters I could then pick up for free and just have to pay their contracts. So when you actually play the game, I find, because the games come thick and fast, they obviously have 2 cups. PES has got the licenses to UEFA and Europa League and Champions League, but players get fatigued really quickly. So one hot tip is definitely squad rotation is really important. Play your informed players, the guys who have the red arrows ticking up. That's generally a good sign, so play them whenever possible. Sort of regular rotation, because you can tell players get knackered pretty quickly. But so I've just jumped into a game against West Glamorgan City, that famous team, also known as Swansea. The main complaint when you tell people that PES is good or PES is better than FIFA, be like, well, it doesn't have the real names. But finally they do have real names. There is no Ryan Giggs is no longer called Ronald Greggs. Beckham's no longer Buckheim, Danny Buckheim. They're now the real players, even if the team names aren't the same. So Swansea will have Boney, well, not anymore, he's gone to City, but Swansea will have Sigurdsson, Spurs will have Soldado, etc. But they're still called North London White. So hopefully you can get past that aesthetic thing and get on with the game. But there is an editor, you can edit everything yourself if you want, if you've got the time. I don't. So I also own FIFA 15. I can already say the gameplay is a lot tighter on PES. There are less ridiculous errors. Keepers don't run into each other. Players don't randomly fall over with like those ridiculous ragdoll physics. Remember one of my first games on FIFA, I was playing against Liverpool, and I kicked off and their keeper just ran mini-lay, sprinted all the way up to the halfway line, and this was against a computer, AI, not even someone controlling it. So Mini-lay is a bit of an idiot, so I don't know if that is realistic, but I just shot from the halfway line and scored, and then from then I knew something was a little bit wrong with that game. But yeah, another complaint I did have with FIFA, which I see a lot of people playing about online, you can sort of just play one long ball straight through the middle to tear a team apart. And with PES it's just not like that. Obviously you can, there are long balls of course, but the passing is slick, the build-up requires skill and like a series of passes, lots more methodical. You definitely feel a bigger sense of reward after scoring a goal, because it's particularly hard fought. But I play particularly short games in the Master League, so I just try and score as quickly as possible, and it's pretty frustrating when you don't, obviously. Players also make really intelligent runs during the game. Attackers actually move for the ball into advanced positions as opposed to just standing around like idiots. The defending is different from FIFA as well. It's just a case of holding X, I imagine it would be A on Xbox, to chase players with the ball. You can call for a teammate just using square. They've taken out the sort of difficult zonal defending that exists in FIFA, that legacy defending where you have to sort of mark the space rather than the player, which I agree is more realistic, but it's a computer game for God's sake. I just want to be able to remember one button. But so PES has got the sort of traditional defending which I know and love. a gripe. The commentary is still as garbage as ever. It's not a patch on FIFA, which all in all has better presentation. I mean, the menus are better. Just everything's sort of better in FIFA, the career menus, etc. But PES, I did read online that Konami used an artist who drew the players' faces, because the PES faces, I'll try and get a close up soon, they're a lot sort of better than in previous editions. They haven't just taken the blonde guy and made him sort of Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, Marco Reus, just generic blonde one covering 100 players. They actually have a lot more uniqueness about them. Ronaldo especially looks incredibly effective. But yeah, some of the likenesses in this game are absolutely unreal. But the thing that keeps drawing me back to PES, however, is the gameplay. It just feels like real football. When I'm playing, there's no sort of ridiculous 6-5 games, no long balls that tear apart an entire defence. No, that does happen, but the AI in general is just superb. One of the licenses that PES does have over its rivals is the Champions League and Europa League. It's actually had these tournaments for a while, for the last few years. Hopefully if I can stay within the top 6 in my division, I can actually play in one of these tournaments. This is quite a dull game at the moment against West Malden City. Not the most exciting game to show you, a 0-0 of course.
The ball played down the middle, trouble looming, but he's able to cut it out.
See there, you can see jostling for the ball. Traditional Swansea trying to play it out from the back.
Gives away a free kick.
See the kits as well, that's another thing that
I'm sure has a few things to say about it.
PES lacks over its counterpart in FIFA. It's got the players down, it's got the team names, hasn't got the kit.
Wilfried, it's a fine save. The keeper knew he had to get to that. Vital touch by the keeper. This may well be their last surge forward, and they'll need to make sure it's a telling one.
See, we've got a classic break coming from Spurs. Concentrating more on actually trying to win this game now, so I can at least show a goal in the last minute, hopefully. Insigne, another player assigned from loan. Oh, and there you go. Just like the real Spurs, I've scored in the last minute. Harry Kane. It's like watching a real game. Who said PES isn't realistic? So I think that was quite a big deflection. It just shows the sort of unpredictability of this game. That, you know, a massive deflection in the final minute. Harry Kane, unfortunately, he's one of those players who doesn't look much like the real thing. I guess when this game came out, they never envisioned that he'd become the absolute world-class player he is today. So you can see the hard work's been only done for the sort of top players. But yeah, huge deflection there. Great thing about the goal, if you saw, you can see the player actually calling for the ball. He raises his arm in the air and then makes a forward run.
So there you have it, the final whistle. This could be put down as a victory for a set of defenders who all kept their focus for the full 90 minutes.
Well, how enjoyable was that? I love it when you get two teams
cool, and then you have it 1-0.
They held nothing back.
So I've owned both FIFA 15 and PES 15. In my opinion, PES is a better game this year. I think I wrote about this before. That sort of competition breeds excellence, and this has kind of been FIFA's downfall. Because PES has been so rubbish in recent years, and everyone would admit it's been crap in recent years, FIFA has sort of been coasting, knowing it's the better game, made such small improvements year on year, but now PES is back with a bang, and it hugely stands out, whereas FIFA has barely improved. So I'd like to think, with people have been taking a lot more notice of PES this year, so I'd like to think EA has kind of taken notice and will increase their efforts. So that next time we have 2 great games. Yeah, so you can see from there I signed Berahino as a youngster. If you play these players young and they gain confidence and their skill set rapidly grows. So Berahino sort of already he's had 1 increase up to 74, like a higher rating. My highest rated striker, just because I gave him a solid run in the first team. In the Master League as well, there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of tournaments to play. There's domestic leagues. There's also the England Cup, which I imagine is their version of the FA Cup. Has a sort of negotiation window where you can do business effectively the same way a real season works. The most encapsulated thing, in my opinion, is how you can truly build your own team from the ground up. That was originally a team of nobodies. I imagine my young team, originally it was Castolis, Minandinho, like those losers, heroes. And now it's an English team of like Mason, Ings, Kane. It will soon be shipped out once I've won even more games for Ronaldo's, Messi's, the Robins of the world, once I'm a continental force. But either way, with this Master League game, I've shown a bit of the menus, how the team sheets work. Hope I've given you an example of what Master League entails, how PES gameplay generally works and looks. So I'm going to jump to another game with Tyneside. I guess that's Newcastle. But yeah, sorry I went radio silent for about a minute. I was just concentrating on winning the game. But I must thank you for sticking out 11 minutes. I think it's been 12 minutes. It's been my longest YouTube video to date. But yeah, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual fancies of the world. One click of a button will make me very happy. I'm going to go win Champions League, etc. Harry Kane, Yid. See ya.
Get into a nice rhythm. The early signs are very encouraging now.